First of all, I got to ask you about your T-shirt. God protect Robert Mueller. Did you make that yourself?
No, but a couple of people was talking, so there's a history in this country, so I just hope that God puts his hands on him and he gets to do what he has to do to the end.
I want to ask you about this film because
Yes.
I went to see it a couple of months ago, actually, and it's a period film. It's set in the 70s. First of all, had you ever heard of this story before? Because
No.
no.
Explain
what it's about.
Jordan Peele called me out of the thin blue sky, have a project for you. I said, what is it? In 6 words, he pitched it. Black man infiltrates KKK.
And were you like, I'm in? That's it?
Yeah, I was in. I said, is it true? He says it's true because automatically I thought the great David Chappelle.
Right, the Dave Chappelle skit.
Right.
But so, just very briefly, this is a African-American police officer.
Ron Stallworth.
Right, first African-American on this police force.
In Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. And
Jackie Robinson.
He sees an ad for the KKK in the newspaper, calls them up, and starts talking to them.
No, he left a message.
He left a message, okay.
But he left his name. To call him back. So the premise is that he needs a white Ron Stallworth to play him in person. And that's Adam Driver's character.
So it's set in the 70s.
70s.
And I mean, it's so evocative of that time, but I mean, man, it is so timely today. I mean, that's the thing that just blows you away when you're sitting there watching this. Is that what you...
Well, that was the plan. With my co-writer, Kevin Wilmot, we did not want this just to be a history lesson. We wanted, even though it takes place in the 70s, we still wanted to be contemporary. So a lot of things, phrases and stuff like that was said way before the 70s, where they were saying then, and then now you hear them today in the lexicon of politics and these guys in office.
It's one of the things that's so startling about the film is, you know, we like to think about we've evolved and things change, and it's you know, I mean, this doesn't go away. The questions of race, the divisions, you know, it doesn't go away.
Well, I've been in this show many years, you know, talking about the same thing. But the thing, I know I might be giving a spoiler alert, but I was in Martha's Vineyard August 12th. And I watched what I feel is homegrown American red, white, and blue terrorism.
You're talking about last year, the Charlottesville.
Yes. August 12th. And my house in Martha's Vineyard is an 18th hole. So I knew Obama was coming because I see the Secret Service in the trees, you know, for the tee off the 18th hole. So he, you know, he's on the golf course, turns his phone off 4 hours, just relax. So he didn't. When I told him, he hadn't heard about it.
You went up to him and told him.
He hadn't heard about it.
What'd you say to him?
I remember exactly, but it was. I don't want to give him a whole thing, but I just said, "You need to." I want to tell you this because I thought he heard. He didn't hear about it. And the film BlacKkKlansman is opening on the 1-year anniversary of Charlottesville.
And that was intentional. That was important to you.
Very much so. I think that what happened there. Here's the thing for me. The President of the United States had a chance, Anderson, to denounce hate groups. The whole world saw what happened, and he didn't do it.
Said there's there's good people on both sides. That Friday night, you know, there was a Friday night, the Tiki Torch rally to go to the Robert E. Lee statue. I mean, these were young white males, hundreds of them. This is in the Vice video, chanting "Jews will not replace us," "Blood and soil," which is an old Nazi slogan. The idea that it's, I mean, they're not wearing masks.
Swastikas left and right.
Right. I mean, did it surprise even? I mean, you focused on, look, you've done so many films about race and race in America. Did that even surprise you, though? How blatant it was?
No. You know why? Because since this guy's got in the White House, it's not even a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. And then also, Anderson, we've seen a rise of the right. It's not just America, it's worldwide. So this thing is happening worldwide.
One of the things that LeBron James said in that interview with Don Lemon the other night, he was talking about he believes that the president has created an environment where people who hold toxic views or racist views feel more empowered than ever before to give voice to them.
They got the green light from the White House.
You think it filters down from the top that way?
From the top, runs down. Mexicans, all Mexicans are rapists. We'd go be here for 3 hours just doing research and saying all the statements, the hateful statements he said. He said over.
So what do you hope people get from the film?
I'm very leery of providing takeaways. I respect the audience intelligence too much, but I think if we just look at this film and look at the ending, we got to do better. We got to do better.
I mean, I'm not going to say what the ending of the film is, but I mean,
It ends in Charlottesville.
When the theater I was watching it in, I mean, you could have heard a pin drop, and afterward, I mean, just the impact of that.
That was one of the things we want to do, connect the past to the present. And I like to say at this time, God bless Susan Bro. It's coming up the 1-year anniversary of the loss of her daughter, again, in a terrible act of American terrorism. She no longer has a daughter because of that.
Yeah, we'll be talking to her tomorrow. You have kids. Do you have these? I mean, do you have these conversations?
Oh yes, we do, because I had these conversations with my parents. We were little. One of my most, it's not a fond memory, but April 1968, I'm in front of my stoop in Brooklyn, New York, and I hear a woman screaming at the top of her lungs. And then as the voice gets closer, I said, that sounds like my mother. And then as she got closer, she was screaming, they murdered Dr. King. They murdered Dr. King. They murdered Dr. King. So I'm 61, so I was in the sweet spot. I mean, I was young enough to see everything, but not old enough to go to Vietnam. And so I was all during the turbulence of the 60s and 70s. I was right there in Brooklyn, taking it all in.
Do you, would you want to sit down with Donald Trump?
No.
And have a conversation?
I'm calling back. I don't use his name either. It's Agent Orange.
That's what you...
Got it from Busta Rhymes. Shout out to Brooklyn Buster.
Do you consider him your president?
No. Might be Putin.
Do you...
I get the next one.
So what?
You look kind of shook, Anderson.
I'm a little shook. No, I mean, I got to tell you, I find the movie. I mean, I was shaken by the film, and
Thank you very much.
When I thought of it as a period piece, I thought, oh, it's a look back, but it's just so there's such relevance today.
I think that's what, if I could say this, I think that's what people responded to. That it's not just history lesson. That even though it takes place in the 70s, it's also the world we live in, the topsy-turvy, crazy, insane world we live in today.
Spike Lee, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.